Hi, welcome back to Storytime at the Pond. Guess what the book's called that we're going to read today? It's called Ponds. And this is not a silly story. This is a science book. It's a science story time about ponds. See the frog and the fish and the bugs and the flowers. A pond is a whole ecosystem. This is by Emily Bone and illustrated by Lucy Riehlin, designed by Anna Gold. Lots of different plants and animals live in a pond. Dragonflies and damselflies fly above the water. Water striders balance on the surface. Fish swim at the bottom of ponds. Many plants grow in ponds. Water mint. Waterweed grows completely underwater. Water lilies float on the surface. Water violets and fish shelter among those plants. Lots of different places to have homes in a pond. Ponds are home to lots of different fish. Father stickleback fish look after their babies. Some fish have flowing fins and tails. Others have short ones. Some pond animals are fierce hunters. Great diving beetles dive down to catch fish. Whoa! I'm kind of glad I don't have those in my pond. Water scorpions grab animals to eat. A whirligig beetle. Young dragonflies are called nymphs. They have long jaws to catch food. So when they're babies, they don't have wings yet. A dragonfly nymph climbs up a plant. There it is. The dragonfly climbed out of the water, and suddenly its skin splits, and an adult dragonfly comes out. Sometimes you'll see those little skins left behind. And it flies away to find food. Dragonflies and damselflies dart around hunting bugs. Hawker dragonfly. This dragonfly is hunting a mayfly. See there? Common blue damselfly. Some stop to rest on plants. Scarlet darter dragonfly. Frogs, toads, and newts come to ponds in spring to lay eggs. Great crested newts. They lay tiny white eggs on leaves. Frogs and toads call to find partners. American toad, trill, trill, trill. This frog makes a peeping call. Peep, peep. You ever heard spring peepers? Peep, peep. Frogs lay lots of eggs called frog spawn. Tiny tadpoles hatch out of the eggs. Remember the blobs of jelly? And then the tiny little tadpoles get tails that wiggle, and they wiggle their way right out of that jelly egg. Tadpoles grow back legs, and then front legs. They get bigger too. Finally, they turn into frogs. Croak. Pond snails crawl up and down underwater plants. They eat leaves. Fish and frogs hunt the snails. That's called a food chain or a food web. The frog's the predator and the snails are the prey. Water spiders live in ponds. A spider traps air from the surface between the hairs on its body. It dives down and builds a web between pond plants. And then it fills its web with air and climbs inside. The spider breathes the air. That's cool. A young mosquito passes close by. The spider rushes to catch it. Yum, yum, yum. So who's the predator? The spider. And who's the prey? The mosquito. Turtles lie in the hot sun at edges of ponds to warm up. They have hard shells. They can hide away inside their shells, so they travel with their house on their back. They slide into the cool water to hunt for food. Plop! He wants to eat that little tiny fish. Mayflies grow up underwater in ponds. When they're ready to turn into adults, they come to the surface. They fly in big groups looking for partners. Can you spot something else hiding in the pond? Can you find something hiding in the pond? Do you see its two little eyes? Yep, there's a frog. Many different birds live around ponds. Moorhens build nests at the edge of ponds. Swallows snatch bugs off the surface. Herons catch fish from under the water. Yummy. Do you like to eat fish? Water shrews live in burrows close to ponds. They go to ponds to hunt for fish and beetles to eat. A mother water shrew carries a fish back to her burrow, and she feeds the fish to her babies. Some ponds dry out when it's hot and sunny, and when it rains, they fill up with water again. After the rain, lots of animals come to live in the ponds. Frog, beetle, tadpoles, and newt. Remember all of them from the story? Thirsty animals come to the ponds to drink. You see who that is? Those are the deer. Deer are mammals, and they come to the water to drink. So did you like that book about ponds? We learned about frogs, and they're amphibians, and we learned about different kinds of fish, and we saw insects, and we saw birds, and we even saw, what kind of animal are people? A mammal. So we saw deer, who are also mammals. Lots of different animals love to use ponds. That's the ecosystem that they live in. I hope you'll get to explore outside and always have a grown-up with you, especially if you're going to find a pond. And then you too can watch all the animals come to life in spring and follow their life cycle all the way through to winter. And then guess what happens after winter? It's spring again, that's right. Well, thanks for joining me for this fun spring story time. My kitty likes it too.